Hey, welcome everybody to another segment of our 1969 Mets replay using Payoff pitch. And today it's first game of a two-game series against the Pittsburgh Pirates. This is going to be Jerry Koosman versus Bob Moose. And in this game, let's look at what happened. Koosman gets knocked out in the second inning of this game. Now, we don't want that. We're hoping that doesn't happen in reality. He gets kind of pounded here. I'll tell you what happens to Jerry Koosman. Gives up 8 hits and 5 runs and 1 walk in 2.1 innings. So we're hoping to improve on that, kind of rewrite history a little bit in that respect. We don't want that to happen to Koosman. So we're going to get started. And I'll give you the lineup for the Mets. It's going to be Tommy Agee in center field. And I'll run the cards so you can see these beautiful cards. Tommy Agee in center field, followed by Rod Gasper in right field. Batting third is Ken Boswell, the second baseman, left-hander. Cleon Jones is in the cleanup spot. He today is in left field. At first base is Ed Kranepool, batting fifth. Batting sixth is Amos Otis at third base. Ed Charles hasn't been hitting much. J.C. Martin, the catcher, batting seventh. He's relieving the everyday catcher, Jerry Grody. Bud Harrelson batting eighth at shortstop. And then the pitcher's card, a 1-pitcher hitting card, Jerry Koosman. Bob Moose is on the mound. Bob Moose was 14-3. So had a pretty impressive season in 69 with a 2.91 ERA. We're just going to double check this lineup real quick to make sure everybody is where they should be. Agee, Gasper, Boswell, Jones, Kranepool, Otis, Martin. Yep, perfect. And we're right about to get started. We're going to use Payoff pitch. Now let me tell you a little bit about Payoff pitch very quickly. Payoff pitch, you read the black and then the white. For the batter card, for the pitcher card, you just add 2 D6. So we're going to do that first. Bob Moose, and that comes out to be a 3. That's defense. So we're going to we're using fast action cards for certain things. And for defense, I pull a fast action card. And we're just doing that right now. Let's pull a card and see what it says. All right, it's going to be error first baseman. So we're going to roll 2 D10. That's a 16, so that may be an automatic. And it is an automatic because the best fielder is 1 to 25 in Forbes Field. Now, Forbes Field is not a good hitting park. 1 to 11 for wheelhouse against righties, which is terrible, 10%. Will get an opportunity to hit a home run there. And then against lefties, a little bit better, 20% of the ball players will get a chance to hit one out at Forbes Field. Okay, so it's an automatic error on the first baseman. We're going to pull another card to see what kind of error it is. And it says right here, first base, it's a 1-base error on the first baseman. So it goes off the heel of his glove. And Tommy Agee is on at first with a reached on an error by whom? By the first baseman. All right. So Tommy Agee is going to try to see if he can get a lead. He had 12 stolen bases. I'm trying to be a little bit more aggressive than I usually am. So here we're going to roll all dice together this time. It's going to be Rod Gasper. And that's a 6. So we're actually going to put that to the side. Put that towards the back end right there. The 6 is a patient 72 against a righty, and that's going to be outside of walk range or hit range. It's going to be a fly ball, shallow center field. 1 out. Center fielder for the defense for the Pirates is Ron Davis in left, Matty Alou in center, and the Roberto Clemente in right field. Around the infield, it's going to be Jose Pagan at third, Freddie Patek at short. I remember him as a Kansas City Royal. Bill Mazeroski at second, Bob Robertson at first, Jerry May catching, and Bob Moose on the mound. And it's Kenny Boswell. It's a left-handed hitter. And it's going to be a tough pitch, see if he can do anything with it, and I doubt it. It's going to be a fly ball, high fly ball, pop-up to right field. 2 out. And next is Cleon Jones, the cleanup hitter for the Mets. That's a 7. That's a tough pitch, a tough 63. Tough 63, and that's a ground ball to the second baseman. And that retires the side. All right. So the lineup for the Pirates is going to be Matty Alou, center fielder batting first, Ron Davis. Left fielder batting second, batting third is the Roberto Clemente. Batted 415 versus lefties in 160 at bats. 400 hitter versus lefties. What is he, a right-handed hitter? Bob Robertson at first base batting cleanup. Didn't play a lot, but he starts in this game. We're using actual lineups. Jose Pagan, the third baseman, batting fifth. Batting sixth is Bill Mazeroski, second baseman. Batting seventh is the catcher, Jerry May. Batting eighth is the shortstop, Freddie Patek, and batting ninth is Bob Moose, pitcher hitting card 3. And we're looking for Kuzman now. What do we do with Kuzman? Let's see, was he in here? No. Let's see if we can find Jerry Kuzman. So he got banged up in this game. He was basically out by the third inning, excuse me. All right, let's see if you can improve on that. Lefty versus lefty. That's an 8 patient. A patient 94 versus a lefty is going to be a fly to right, 1 out. Matty Alou is out on a fly ball. Next is Ron Davis. Ron Davis batted 303 versus lefties. That's an 8. That's patient. A patient 0-0. That's going to be defense. I changed. This is one of my homebrews. 0-0 with nobody on is patient. I'm sorry, it's defense. Excuse me. And that's going to be a potential error for the shortstop. I'm going to pull a card and look on potential error for the shortstop, and we're going to roll. See what happens. That's a 63, and that is still within range if he's a 1. I don't, and I know for sure that Harrelson's not a 1, but just double check because this is a new replay. He is not a 1, so that's going to be some sort of an out. Let's look in the out section to shortstop. It says ground ball. 6-3 ground ball, 2 out. And it's Roberto Clemente. 6 tough 89. That's a ground ball to short. Harrelson fires to first and gets Clemente by half a step. Clemente hustling down that line. Not really a base stealer, but good speed on the bases. A smart base runner. He could do it all. Now, what I do with my pitcher card, since I touch them every inning, whereas my my batters, I don't necessarily touch them every inning. They don't get beat up as much. So I'm gonna use the Ultra Pro baseball card protectors for that. So Bob Moose against Ed Kranepool. Now Ed Kranepool is batting 389, 18 at bats, 7 hits and 18 at bats, no home runs. That's a 10. That's patient. A patient 0-4, and that's going to translate into ball 4. And there it is. So Kranepool's on with a walk. Amos Otis is next. That's a 6. That's patient. 0-0. But this time it's with a runner on. So it's a little bit different. So we're going to roll 2d6. And that's a 10. Hard grounded to third. If runner on second and first base, third baseman. Okay, that's not the case. Second base with A and B range relayed. Okay. It's going to be a fielder's choice, basically. 5-4 fielder's choice on this. Ground ball to third, over to second, no throw to first. Kranepool goes in hard, breaks it up. So that's going to be 1 out now. J.C. Martin. And that's a 9. That's in play, 99. And that's going to be popped up. And that's the first baseman, Robertson, calling for it. Makes the catch. That's 2 down. And it's Buddy Harrelson. That's an 11. That's in play 47. And that's going to be an out, ground ball to third. And that's Amos Otis. Long throw. Gets him, and that retires the side. I'm going to take 30 seconds. Did he go out, baby? Bye. All right, sorry for the interruption. Let's get going on this. Bob Robertson against Jerry Koosman. Jerry Koosman was basically taken out in the second inning in this game after giving up 8 hits. So far, he hasn't given up any, so we're looking good here. Mets are looking good. That's a 9. That's a tough out. That's a 46. That's going to be strike 3 on Robertson. Jerry Koosman blows it by Robertson. Let me look on the... Yeah. So that's a strikeout. And next is Jose Pagan. And that's Snake Eyes. Patient 23, and that's going to be ball 4. Walks on 4 pitches. Bill Mazeroski's next. And you know what? We're going to try a hit and run with Mazeroski. Only struck out 16 times in 100 and basically over 250 at bats. So I think he'd be a good player to hit and run with. And let's see if we can get something going for the Pirates. So the way you do that is basically it's a 5. 5 is in play, 80. In play 80, that's going to translate into a ground ball to shortstop. So there's no double play there. So the Pirates with that hit and run stay out of the double play, which is basically the purpose of a hit and run. So now they have a runner on second base, 2 outs, and it's a RBI opportunity for Jerry May, who batted against lefties, batted 200. So that's an 8. That's a patient 88, and that's going to be a grounded to short. Harrelson to his left throws on the run and gets May easily to retire the side. We go to the top of the third, no score. At Forbes Field, 1969, or in my office, 2019. Bob Moose on the mound for the Pirates was 14-3. And that's going to be an 8. That's tough pitch, 26. A tough 26 against Koosman. And he's a 1-pitcher hitting card. And that's strike 3. Blows one by Jerry Koosman, who looks perplexed. Tommy Agee, he reached out an error in the first. That's a 7. That's a tough pitch, 90. Tough 90, and that's a grounded to short. Freddie Patek. And he is out at first, 2 away. Pitch from Moose to Rod Gasper. Ballpark. And we rolled a 52. Well, that's out of range. This is not a home run hitter's ballpark. It's going to be in play. So we're going to roll for in play, 30. And there's no wild pitches there for Moose. He has a lot of control, but there's nobody on base anyway. But that's a 30 in play against a righty, and that's going to be a comebacker. Moose feels his position, throws him out, and that retires the side. 3 up, 3 down. So we got a bit of a pitcher's duel so far. Playing payoff pitch, 1969. Freddie Patek against Jerry Koosman. That's a 9. That's a tough out, 62. And that's going to be a grounded to second. That's Boswell. Throws him out. Pitcher hitting card, number 3. That's a 9. And that's going to be strike 3 So Moose, downswing, 2 outs, and Matty Alou. That's a 5 in play, 30. If there was a runner on, that would be a wild pitch. So it's in play 30 against a lefty. That's going to be a ground ball up the middle and through in the center field for a base hit. So Matty Alou, and he's going to try to get a lead. We use the steal number. We need to roll at it or below it, and we roll above it, so it doesn't work. Now it's going to be 2 outs, Ron Davis with a runner on first. And that's a 5 in play, 66 against the lefty. And that's going to be a grounded to second base. And that's going to be a fielder's choice. Boswell flips to Harrelson for the force, and that retires the side. All right, Bob Moose here in the top of the 4th inning. We are at Forbes Field, 1969. Not a home run hitter's ballpark. Kenny Boswell, left-handed hitter. That's an 11 in play, 35. In play 35. Oh, right outside of hit range. Bob Moose with the comebacker throws out Boswell, 1 away. No score here in the top of the 4th. That's a 9. That's in play, 46. And that's a grounder to third. Third baseman Pagan with the long throw and gets Cleon Jones, Ed Kranepool, batting .389. He walked his first time up. That's an 11. That's in play 0-2, and in play 0-2, and that's going to be a one hopper off the wall. Kranepool is going to hustle into second base with a 2-out double. So Kranepool stays hot for the Mets in 69, and it's Amos Otis. 7, tough 0-6, strike 3, and that retires the side. Pitchers duel in the bottom of the 4th, no score. Both pitchers have given up but 1 hit. Jerry Koosman versus Roberto Clemente. That's patient 54, and that's going to be a breaking pitch hammer to left for a base hit. So that's the second hit of the day for the Pirates. And Clemente's on at first. He will not try to steal. Bob Robertson, that's a 7 in play, 17. And that's going to be a single, and we're going to see if the runner on first advances 1 base. So stopping at second is going to be Roberto Clemente. So now the Pirates are posing a threat here with runners on first and second and nobody out. Jose Pagan, who's a B bunter, and we're going to bunt just because we're facing Jerry Koosman. And we don't know whether he's going to bunt or not because he's a .299 hitter versus lefties. And we are going to bunt, and it's going to be bunted to the first baseman, Kranepool, who turns around, only 1 play to first. And that's a successful sacrifice for Jose Pagan. Sacrifice hit for Pagan, and that moves both runners up. So now you have assist first base. You have runners in scoring, 2 runners in scoring position. So Kranepool is facing his first crises of the game. Second and third, 1 out, and it's going to be Bill Mazeroski. Here goes Koosman the pitch. And that's going to be a 9. That's a tough out. That's exactly what Koosman needed. That's a pop-up. And that's on the right side, and foul ground is Kranepool. And by the stands, and he reaches, and he makes the catch. Nice catch. Took it away from a fan. And it's Jerry May now. Jerry May versus lefties batted .200. Not much of a threat, but this is the type of guy that'll hurt you. The pitch from Koosman is a 9. That's a tough out. Boy, Koosman came through clutch in this situation. That's going to be a fly ball pop-up to the left side. And back goes Otis, and back goes Harrelson. In comes the left fielder, Jones. Jones calls him off, and he makes the catch. And that retires the side. Oh, wait a second. Okay, I got to go back. Got to go back. Got to go back because give me a second here. All right, undo the last play. And then I have to undo this this play as well. Hold on a second. Just undoing a couple of plays because I let a run score. I wasn't paying attention. I let a run score. So that was a pop-up. That was a pop-up to first base. And it's a left field fly. All right, using on my other side, on my left, to have a 24-inch screen with ball score, ball stat. So we go to the top of the fifth. JC Martin. JC Martin popped up to the first baseman. Here's the pitch from Bob Moose. That's a 9. In play 10. And that's going to be line base hit. Breaking the pitch, hammered to right this time. Bud Harrelson. JC Martin, no stolen bases. And that's going to be a 9. That's going to be in play 45. In play 45 is a grounder to third. Now, this could be a double play. We're looking for 6. We're looking for 6 or less, and it's a 4. So that's a 5-4-3 round the horn double play. Five, 4, 3 round the horn double play, and there's 2 outs now. Kuzman in the top of the fifth, no score. That's a 7, tough pitch, 53, and that's going to be strike 3. Kuzman strikes out for the second time, and that is going to retire the side. Got a pitcher hitting. Who's there? P-Jet. How you doing there, brother? No, we cannot lose with Kuz. I hope not. Jerry Kuzman so far has allowed 3 hits in 4 innings. And it's going to be the bottom of the order, Patek, Moose, and Alu, the top of the order. All right, that's a 5. That's in play, 0-9. And that's going to be a ground ball up the middle and through into center field. So Patek, who's a threat to steal, well, not necessarily. I think he becomes more of a threat to steal in the 70s. Right here, this is 69. He only stole 15 bases. He batted. He played at least 2/3 of the year. He had 400 at bats, a little bit more than 400 at bats. So it's going to be the pitcher, Bob Moose, and Bob Moose is an A bunter, and we know he's going to bunt. I mean, he's a pitcher hitting card 3, not much of a hitter. So we're going to pull a bunt card, and it's a success. Even moving 1 down, I modify it because I know he's going to bunt, so I move 1 south. And that's going to give him a lesser opportunity to be successful on the bunt because the third baseman or first baseman are playing in, expecting the bunt. And that's going to be, he's bunted, the catcher pops out, J.C. Martin fires the first, and that's going to be a sacrifice. So that's going to be a sacrifice, assist 2, and put out 4. Runner on second now. This is the go-ahead run at second base. And for Alu batted 284 versus lefties. Here's the pitch from Kuzman. Now, Kuzman's been getting out of trouble the whole game. Let's see if he can continue that pattern. And he does. Strike 3 to Alu. Curveball gets him. Big strikeout for Jerry Kuzman in this situation. And there's 2 outs. So Jerry Kuzman had second and third with only 1 out in inning number 4, and he was able to work his way through that situation. Ron Davis batted 303 versus lefties. Rather face him than the 400 hitter in Roberto Clemente, who's coming up next. So you definitely want to give Davis a pitch to hit here. And that's going to be a 4. That's a tough pitch, 0-7, strike 3. So Kuzman blows 1 by Ron Davis to avoid bringing up Roberto Clemente with the go-ahead run at second base. So Kuzmin is really coming up clutch in this game. We go to the top of the 6th inning, still no score. Mets have 2 hits. Pirates have 4 hits. Bob Moose to Tommy Agee. Let's see if the Mets can get something going here. That's a 7. That's a tough pitch. 0-3. Strike 3. Gets him on the curveball. Rod Gasper. He's 0 for 2. He's flied out and grounded out. That's going to be an 8. That's a tough pitch. 36. And that's against a righty, a tough pitch. That's going to be hammered to left. Base hit for Gasper. So Gasper's on at first. We're going to see if we can get a steal out of him. And we do. He goes. And it's a 2. Let's take a quick peek at what that chart says. The arm rating is a 2 for the so it's a C2. And that's going to make it fair. Let's see if he can steal this base. And the throw down from whoever the defender is, whoever the catcher is, I can't remember off the top of my head. And this is a potential. So he's in under the tag, but it rolls away from the shortstop. So this is a potential error on the catcher. And that's a 4. Let's see. The rule on that is if the result is equal to or less than the catcher's E rating, no error. So that's a 4. Let's look at the catcher's E rating. Catcher for the is Jerry May, 2 arm, 4 rating. So if it's equal to or less than, there's no error. So it's a stolen base for Gasper. That's, I think, his first stolen base of the year. He's on at second. So the Mets have a runner in scoring position. And it's basically their 3rd and 4th place hitters coming up. So now Bob Moose is in a tight spot, in a jam, if you will. Ken Boswell. We're definitely not going to walk Boswell to pitch to a 340 hitter in Jones, although Jones, he bats 338 versus lefties and 340 versus righties. So he can hit both lefties and righties. So it's going to be Ken Boswell with 1 out. The go-ahead run at second base in the top of the 6th inning. And let's see what happens here. Here's a pitch from Moose. And that's going to be 12 wheelhouse. Now, this Ford Field is not a home run hitter's park because he's a lefty. 1-22 would put us in wheelhouse. We rolled a 50, so that's going to be in play. So we're going to look in the in-play range, and all that does is 1-32. So we're going to roll 2 6-sided die. And a 1-32 is going to be a hit. And 81, so that's way out of range. That's a fly out center field. And now we're going to roll a 6-sided die. And a 1, he tags up and goes to third. And we roll a 6, so he does not. So it's a fly center field. And it's Cleon Jones. Now, we may walk Cleon Jones to face the 086 hitting, 255 hitting Kranepool. So that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to intentionally walk Cleon Jones, a 340 hitter. And then we're going to toggle that to intentional base on balls. And now it's Ed Kranepool. Ed Kranepool versus Bob Moose. Hey, babe. Yeah, a little bit. All right, here's the pitch. Wait a second. I'm missing a die. All right, let's try that again. Bob Moose versus Ed Kranepool with runners on first and second. 2 outs. That's a 5. That's going to be a tough pitch, a tough 67. And that's going to be a fly ball to center. And that's going to retire the side. So the Mets leave 2, score none. And after 5.5, there's no score here at Forbes Field. 1969, Jerry Kuzmin versus Roberto Clemente. That's a 5. That's in play 20. And that's going to be a base hit for Robbie Clemente. So he's on with a single. And in a close game like this, we're going to try to see if we can get a stolen base. Nope. Bob Robertson. That's a 9. That's a tough out. A tough 85. And that's going to be grounded to short. This could be a potential double play. Let's see if we can get it. 9. No way. No way, Jose. Nope. So that's going to be a 6-4 fielder's choice. 6-4 fielder's choice. And Robertson is on it first now. Trades places with Clemente. Jose Pagan, third baseman. That's an 8. That's patient. A patient 75 against a lefty. And that's going to be a fly to center field. On the run is the center fielder, Agee, in the gap, and he runs it down. Nice jump by Agee, flashing the leather here in a close game. Jerry Koosman versus Mazurowski. That's a 3. That's defense. So we're pulling a card here. We're pulling a defensive card. It says potential error shortstop on Harrelson. And we're going to use that number, 77. That's higher than any potential error. So it's going to be some sort of an out. Let's see what kind of an out it is. It's going to be a potential double play if he's an 8, but we have an A, but we have 2 outs. So it's a 6-3 ground ball, Harrelson to Kranepool, and that retires the side. Once again, another basically scoreless inning here in a very tight pitcher's duel. Bob Moose, 14-3 with a 2.91 ERA versus Jerry Koosman, 17-9 with a 2.28 ERA. 1969 replay. It's going to be the Mets' bottom of the order with Otis, Martin, and Harrelson. The pitch to Amos Otis is a 9. That's in play, 79. And that's going to be a ground ball to short. Patek fires to first and gets Otis by half a step. J.C. Martin, snake eyes. That's going to be ballpark. That's going to be ballpark, so we're going to pull a card for a number. Actually, ballpark, we use the 35, and that's going to be outside of range. That's going to be outside of range. Left versus left-handed pitchers or right-handed pitchers, so it'd be 1-11. So now we're going to roll J.C. Martin's in play. That's a 41, and that's going to be a pop-up to the infield, middle of the field, and that's Patek coming over. Makes the catch. That's 2 down. No score here in the top half of the 7th inning. And that's a 7. That's tough. A tough 43. Tough 43. And that's going to be line base hit. So Bud Harrelson reaches out. And it's Jerry Koosman up with Harrelson at first. Let's see if Harrelson, he's not a threat to steal. Had 1 stolen base the whole season. And Koosman is up here in the top of the 7th. And with 2 outs, we're going to let him bat. That's going to be a 5. Tough 50. A tough 50. A strike 3. Koosman strikes out for the 3rd time in the game. And that retires the side. So the Mets leave 1, score none. And after 6.5, no score. Now, Jerry Koosman, in reality, the Mets, I believe, lose this game. Koosman gets basically pushed out by the 2nd inning. And the Mets, let me see real quick here. Yeah, the Mets lose this game 11-3 in reality. They're doing much better in our replay. Much better. Jerry Koosman versus Jerry May. And that's an 8. That's patient. A patient 12 versus a lefty. That's going to be ball 4. So walks on 4 pitches. So May, who's not much of a base runner. Oh, wait, he is not a bad base runner. Okay. So he'll hold his own. Freddie Patek. Let's see how many innings Moose went in this game to kind of – let's see how many – Moose went in this game. Let's see. Moose went the whole game. So, all right. This is a tough one because, we're going to hit away with Patek. Normally we bunt, but then we're going to have to pinch hit for Moose. And I think we may have to do that because I think that's going to be the best possibility for a win here in a 0-0 game to basically bunt with Patek. And he's a very good bunter. And I'm going to roll. I'm not sure if the Mets would know he's bunting for sure. I mean, he batted 265. You know what? They probably will, because he's known as a bunter and not necessarily a great hitter. So they probably know he's bunting, but he's still a decent bunter. So he'll bunt him over, and then we'll need a pinch hitter for Moose. So let's do that. Let's pull a card to see if the bunt is successful. We're going to look at the C, bunt C, and it is successful. It's to the third baseman, who fires to Boswell, covering first for Kranepool, and that's going to be a successful sacrifice. So advances to second, and that's going to be a 5. And put out is a 4. And it's going to be Bob Moose. So we're going to have to bring in a pinch hitter for the Pirates, and I'm going to see who they used to pinch hit by looking at the next game in Baseball Reference, and that doesn't show me anything. Let me see the game after the next game. And in that game, they use, let's see who they use. They use Richie Hebner, but he's a lefty. So they use Richie Hebner, a lefty. Ron Davis, I believe, is playing, so they're not using him. Al Oliver also is a guy that they used, but Al Oliver is a lefty, so they don't want to use either of those against Kuzman. So let's go to the one game after that. So we're learning the Pirates. Okay, guy named Gary Kolb. Let's see if I have him. Now, the great thing about payoff pitches, you get almost every card. Let's see. Unless the guy just had 20 at-bats or less or something like that. So Kolb is there, but he's also a lefty. Manny Sanguillen, he's another guy that pinch hit for them. Manny Sanguillen. So let's see Manny Sanguillen. All right, so Manny Sanguillen is going to pinch hit for Bob Moose. All right, so versus lefty, Sanguillen batted 273. Let's see. We're not going to walk him 7. That's in play. An in play 80 versus a lefty, and that's going to be a fly ball deep center field. And back goes Agee towards the track and makes the catch. He makes the catch there in center field for out number 2. And now that's going to be the top of the order, Matty Alou. There's a pitch from Kuzman. 5 is in play, and that's a 0-3. Not what we wanted to see, and that's going to be one hop off the wall. 1-0 Pirates. So a clutch 2-out double by Matty Alou gives the Pirates a 1-0 lead here in the bottom of the 7th inning. So Davis is on at second base. I'm sorry. Davis is up at the plate, and Alou is on at second base. 1-0 Pirates. Here's the pitch to Davis. That's another 5. That's in play 59 versus a lefty. 59 versus a lefty is just right outside of hit range. That's a fly to right. And on the run towards the line is the right fielder for the Mets. Who is that out there? That's Gasper. And he runs it down by the line, and that retires the side. Yeah, my dog is in his cage, and he knows I'm home, so he's and I will take him out in a little bit after I finish this. So there's no dog suffering or anything like that. He's just misbehaving. He's usually very quiet in his cage, but today he knows I'm here and he wants me to play with him, which I will in a couple of minutes. 1-0 in this game. Bob Moose versus Tommy. Bob Moose is out, so we're gonna have to bring in a new pitcher here. Let's see who we're gonna bring in real quick. Who'd they use? Hartenstein, Schellenbach, and Walker. But was that in a blowout or not? Yeah, it was in a blowout. So those are not the guys they're gonna use here. Let's see who their kind of go-to guy was. Dalcanton. Do they use him in a close game? Yes, sort of. They do. They use Dalcanton in a close game. So we'll be able to use Dalcanton here. And let's see. Let's see if we have Dalcanton. Usually you get most of the guys. There he is. Bruce Dalcanton had 5 saves. 7 games. That looks like the right guy. 3.34 ERA. So that's who we're going to bring in a close game like this. And he's going to go in 69. He would go the whole game, potentially. So we're going to get a new pitcher to face Tommy Agee. Oh, wait a second. I got to go back because I didn't do. Oh man. All right. Let me go back. Let me go back here. Hold on. I got a fly ball. That was a double. I didn't put in the pinch hitter for Moose. I didn't write it in. Let me take a quick picture of the screen that I'm using. I'm using ball score. So then I'll be able to recreate the last 3 outs real quick. It's 1-0 Pirates in the top of the 8th. I'm going to have to go back here and undo a couple of because I forgot to bring in the pinch hitter officially, Manny Sanguillen. Undo. And then I'm going to undo again. Undo. And then I'm going to undo again. Undo the double. And then I'm going to have to undo and bring the pinch hitter in. All right. Now I'm going to bring in the pinch hitter. That's going to be Sanguillen. Okay. And Sanguillen is going to fly out to center field, I bet. Let me see. Quickly look at what I took a picture of. Yeah, he flies out to center. Then the next hitter doubles. So that was an out to center field, the pinch hitter, Sanguillen. And then there's a double, RBI double, run scores. And then the last out, Davis flies out to right. Nice catch by the right fielder, Gasper, to end the inning. And, okay, great. And now we're going to bring in a new pitcher. So we're back to where we should be. And that pitcher is going to be Bruce Dalcanton, in the 9th spot. All right, he's going to face Tommy Agee. Here's the pitch. And that's going to be Snake Eyes defense. So we're going to pull a defensive card. Range shortstop. We can use the 74, and that may be out of range. Yep, it goes up to 73. So that's going to be some sort of an out to the shortstop. It's going to be a ground ball to the shortstop. Patek up with it, fires to first, and gets Agee. 1 away. 6-3, Rod Gasper. And that's a ballpark 60, so that's going to be in play. And that's a in play 43, and that's a grounded to third. Pagan up with it. Across the diamond, 2 away. Kenny Boswell, left-handed hitter, pitch from Dalcanton. And that's going to be a 0. That's going to be an 8. Patient 0-6, and that's ball 4. Walks him on 4 pitches. And now we have the tying run at first base with Cleon Jones, the batter. Now, Cleon Jones is the Mets' best hitter, batted .340 in 1969, 2 outs. Top of the 8th inning, 1-0 Pirates. And that's going to be a 6 in play, in play 32. In play 32, his wild pitch goes up to 30. Anything in the low 30s, you got to check for wild pitch. In play 32 against a righty, and that's going to be a opposite field liner into right field. Runner may go to third. We're not going to risk it. We don't want to make the third out at third base, so we're going to stop him at second base. So he had a frozen rope to right field, and Clemente, he has a rocket for an arm, and they're not going to risk Clemente's, challenging Clemente's arm, and we're going to stop at second base. So we're going to have runners on first and second now for Eddie Kranepool. That is the Mets' 5th hit of the game. Ed Kranepool versus Bruce Dalcanton. Tying runners at second base, first and second, 2 outs. 1-0 Pirates in the top of the 8th inning. That's going to be an 8. That's patient. A patient 0-9, it looks like. Patient 0-9 is going to be ball 4. Bases are loaded. Bases are loaded for the Mets. So the Mets mounting an offensive scoring opportunity here. Slowly but surely, they've managed to load the bases with 2 outs. A walk to Boswell, a single by Jones, a walk to Kranepool, and now it's Amos Otis. Now, Amos Otis versus righties batted 125, but we don't really know that, so we're going to let him bat. And here goes. Never know what can happen. That's an 8. That's patient. A patient 32. Patient 32 versus a righty is going to be a single off Otis's card. And we're going to pull the card to see what happens here. Runner on second scores. So that's going to be 1 run in for the Mets. Here comes Boswell, followed by Jones. And Kranepool is going to hustle over to third. So a huge clutch, 2-out, bases-loaded single by the guy you'd least expect to drive in these runs with a 125 batting average, Amos Otis. So it's J.C. Martin now. Runners on first and third, Dal Canton to J.C. Martin. So Dal Canton got the first 2 outs quickly, but then a walk, a single, a walk, and a clutch 2-out, bases-loaded single by Amos Otis gives the Mets a 2-1 lead in the top of the 8th inning. So we're going to look into the Pirates now, see who else we have here potentially to, let's see, Ron Klein. Let's see what type of pitcher Ron Klein was. In other words, does he come in close games? Yeah, he does. All right, so Ron Klein, let's see if we have him in the stack of cards we get from Sideline Strategy, Payoff Pitch. Ron Klein, there he is, 1-3 with a 5.81 ERA. Again, we don't know that he's going to end that way, so we're going to bring in Ron Klein. All right, so we got a new pitcher. Ron Klein. He's going to bat 9. All right, he's going to face J.C. Martin. Here goes. Runners on first and third, 2 outs. The Mets lead at 2-1. And that's going to be an 8. That's a tough pitch. Tough 30. Oh, but he has no wild pitch there. So a tough 30 versus a righty is going to be strike 3. Strikes out Martin. High cheese gets Martin. And the Mets pick up 2 runs on 2 hits and 2 walks. And they lead it by a score of 2-1 going into the bottom of the 8th inning. Koosman is still in there for the Mets. But he has been giving up that leadoff hit in the last few innings. They've gotten somebody on in the last 3, in the last 4, in the last 4 innings, they've gotten a leadoff batter on. And that's never a good sign. And here Koosman has to face Roberto Clemente. So the Mets have some action in the bullpen. You've got Ron Taylor and you've got the lefty Tug McGraw. See what happens. That's a 4. That's a tough pitch. A tough 40 versus a lefty. And that's going to be line base hit center field for Clemente. 5 innings in a row, the Pirates get the lead runner on. That's going to be Bob Robertson. And that's going to be a 4. That's a tough pitch. A tough 44. Strike 3. Robertson strikes out for the second time today. So 1 away. Runner on first. Tying runners at first base in the person of Roberto Clemente. Jose Pagan. 1 out. Bottom of the 8th. Mets up 2-1. Jose Pagan. So far, the story is Amos Otis, 125 hitter in 1969. Singles with the bases loaded, 2 outs and the bases loaded against Bruce Dal Canton, and puts the Mets up by a score of 2-1. We're in the bottom of the 8th, 1 out. The tying run is Roberto Clemente. He takes his lead off first. Jose Pagan, the batter. Jose Pagan today is 0 for 1. He's walked, bunted for a sacrifice, and flied out to center. Pitch from Koosman. 5. In play. 41 versus a lefty, and that's going to be a comebacker to Koosman. This may become a double play. Let's see what happens here. We're looking at rolling less than a 5 or less, and we roll a 10. So that's going to be a fielder's choice. Koosman goes to second, but Roberto Clemente goes in hard and breaks up the throw to first. So Mets only get one out of a potential double play. And it's Bill Mazeroski with Jose Pagan at first base. Now, Pagan's not much of a base stealer, so he's not going to be running in that way. Bill Mazeroski versus Jerry Koosman. 9, tough out. 0-6, strike 3, and that retires the side. So Koosman comes up huge after giving up a leadoff base runner, the single by Clemente. He goes on to retire 3 in a row, and we go to the top of the 9th. Mets are bringing up the bottom of the order, Harrelson, Koosman, and Tommy Agee. Now, Koosman had 16 complete games, so I may let him go this game. He's allowed 7 hits so far, but only 1 run. And it's going to be, that doesn't make sense. Ron Klein facing Bud Harrelson. Buddy Harrelson is 1 for 3 on, he is 1 for 3 on the day. Buddy Harrelson, here's the pitch. Snake Eyes in play 0-7, and that's going to be a line drive base hit center field for Buddy Harrelson. So Mets have an insurance run at first base, and we're going to bunt with Koosman, and the infield is ready for the bunt. So that's going to make it he goes from a D to an F. And is bunted to the third baseman. He turns and fires to second, and they get him at second base. So Koosman hits into the fielder's choice, fails to bunt Harrelson to second. So Koosman is on at first now, and it's Tommy Agee. Here's the pitch from Ron Klein. That's a 4. That's in play 99. That's going to be popped up. And that's the third baseman, Pagan, in foul territory, waits for it, makes the catch. 2 down, and it's Gasper. Gasper today is 1 for 4. Pitch from Klein, and that's going to be an 8. That's a tough pitch. See what Gasper can do with it, and that's strike 3. And that retires the side. So Ron Klein blows it by Gasper, and that retires the side. We go to the bottom of the 9th. Jerry Koosman is going to try for this complete game. But you have McGraw and Ron Taylor warming up in the bullpen just in case. Jerry May is going to lead it off. We're going to see May, Freddie Patek, and then a pinch hitter for Ron Klein. And that's going to be a 7. That's in play 0-7. In play 0-7 is going to be ground ball up the middle and through right underneath Harrelson's glove. And the leadoff batter for the 6th consecutive inning has gotten on base. And we're going to bring in a pinch runner now. A pinch runner for the catcher at first base. And I'm going to look quickly and see. First of all, I got to find another right-handed hitter. So I'm going through trying to use the guys that they would use, trying to keep it as close to actual rosters as possible. And I go game by game looking at baseball reference. A lot of times I like to call it Baseball Digest. I don't know why. So I'm going game by game to see who they're using in terms of what players. Kolb, Sanguian were used as pinch hitters. Mazeroski, Freddie Patek. Let's see. So I don't see a lot of righty hitters. Okay, Ken Rudolph and Willie Smith. Those are both on the roster. Let's look at those guys. So Willie Smith may not be here. It depends. So we don't have Smith. I ordered the extra players, and let's see if Ken Rudolph is in here. Ken Rudolph is in here. These are the guys that I think had fewer than 20 at bats. Ken Rudolph. I don't see Ken Rudolph either. Let's do it one more time. So these are 2 guys that I don't have. So, and it's on the way. It may come today. I ordered it a couple of days ago, so I would have all the players. Ken Rudolph. So I don't have those guys. I don't have Ken Rudolph, and I don't have Willie Smith. And they were probably my right-handed hitters at this point. So let's see who I can bring in as a pinch runner. Can he run? Yeah, Richie Hebner can run. I also have Dave Cash, but I don't know if Dave Cash is playing. He may be injured. Oh, Don. Oh, wait. I'm looking at the wrong team. Wait a second. To back up, rewind. Oh, okay. Gary Cole, but he's a lefty. Bob Robertson, Al Oliver. We know we have him. Hebner is available. Let me go one more. I was looking at the Cubs. I screwed up. All right. Let's go to the next one. Yeah. I have what I have, guys. From what I can see, I've just gone up seven games, and nobody else is playing other than who I'm seeing. Who's Manny Sanguillen? Jose Martinez, they used to pinch run. And they used, okay, we got Willie Stargell to pinch hit. And we may have Jose Martinez to pinch run. Good, perfect. And Willie Stargell to pinch hit. Boom, we're ready. Oh, well, actually, it's Patek. Patek is going to bunt. We already planned that out. And he's a B bunter, but it becomes a C bunter. And perfect bunt to the third baseman. And that's going to move the runner up. So it's a sacrifice hit for Patek. And now the tying run is on at second base. And that's going to be an assist 5 with the put out to 4. All right, now we have a pinch hitter coming up. It's going to be Willie Stargell. Willie Stargell. Pinch hitter. Oh, he's also a lefty. I don't know who my righty pinch hitters are. I just give up on this. I had one, Manny Sanguillen, but I have Hebner. These are the guys I have on the bench at this point. It's the wrong team. What did I do with the These are the guys they're hitting. Let's see. They're hitting Oliver, lefty. Kolb I already used. Yeah, he's a lefty anyway. Hebner is another lefty. That's all I have. That's all I have from all the games that I've looked at. I have all lefties on the bench. All my righties have started. Yeah. So I'm just gonna let Stargell bat. What am I gonna do? All right, lefty versus lefty. Here goes. Let's see if Kuzman can come up huge. The tying run is at second base. Pinch runner. Who's the pinch runner there? Jose Martinez. Let me put in a pinch runner real quick so I don't forget. Pinch runner is Jose Martinez. And he is going to be in the second spot. All right, here goes. Snake Eyes is patient. 0-1 is ball 4. So Stargell walks. And that is the go-ahead run. The winning run is on at first on the walk now. So we may look to the bullpen. So I think Kuzman's losing it here. And we're going to go to – we have a lefty coming up. Matty Alou, and we're going to bring in the lefty. The last pitcher of the game, Tug McGraw. We're not pulling him. Tug McGraw is going to come in to replace Kuzman. So it's a new pitcher, and it's going to be Tug McGraw. You got to believe Tug McGraw here with 1 out and 2 men on. He's going to face Matty Alou and then Ron Davis. Hopefully he can get both those batters. So here's the pitch from McGraw. Let's see what McGraw's stats are. McGraw has a 9 ERA. So far, he's pitched 6 innings, given up 6 earned runs and 8 hits, 3 walks. So has not, and he's 0-1. So he has not had a good beginning of the season. The Mets are 4-4 in this early April replay of the '69 season using payoff pitch. Okay, that's a 7. That's tough. A tough 0-0. This is going to take us to the rare play chart. With a runner on, this could be a wild pitch, 30-31 wild pitch. It could be a pass ball. Let's see what happens. We're going to roll 2d6. And that's a 10. Hard grounder to third base. Hard grounder to third base. Runners on first and second. Third baseman touches third base and throws to second base for the force out. It's going to be a double play, game over. Tug McGraw with 1 pitch gets Matty Alou to hit into a double play to end the inning. So it's going to be a ground. It's going to be a 5. Well, force at third, so it's going to be a 5. You know what? And 5-5-4. That's exactly what it is. And game over. Select the player to credit with the participation in this double play. It was no. And that's it, I believe. Yep, game over. Mets win it. Mets win it by a score of 2-1. Tug McGraw comes in the 9th in relief and gets the hitter Matty Alou to hit into a double play, a 5-5-4 double play where the third baseman Boswell stepped on the bag and fired to second base for the force. And that was all she wrote. So a very, very exciting game till the last pitch. And the Mets win it by a score of 2-1. They improve their record to 5-4 after 9 games. In reality, the Mets in 69 after 9 games, let me tell you, I got to backtrack a little bit here because I let's see, let me backtrack. Give me a second. Let me look and see, and then I'll look at the box score real quick to give you some idea of anything that stands out in this game. Okay. The Mets at this point were 3-6 after this game. So obviously my managerial skills are, are above and beyond what I think it was Gil Hodges was able to do with the Mets early on. So this is going to end the game. The win is going to go to Koosman. The save is going to go to McGraw. The loss is going to go to Moose. Actually, Dal Canton, I believe, gets the loss. I believe Dal Canton gets the loss, and I'm going to check this out just to make sure. Dal Canton. Yeah, Dal Canton took the loss. Save. And then I'm going to update this team. 3-letter abbreviation Pitt. Okay, let me. 3-letter Pitt as well. I'll give you the recap in 1 second. I'm just doing a couple of things that I needed to do here. National League team, and they're at Forbes Field. Forbes Field. Okay, and they're adding. They updated the team. All right. Let's look at the box score real quick just to go over that. Mets win this one 2-1. Mets had 2 runs, 7 hits, no errors. The Pirates had 1 run, 8 hits, 1 error. That Pirate run came in the bottom of the 7th, and then the top of the 8th saw the Mets score 2 more runs with a clutch 2-out bases loaded single by Amos Otis, a 125 hitter versus righties. Nobody really stood out other than Harrelson had 2 hits. He went 2 for 4. Otis had the 2 RBIs, drove in the only 2 runs of the game. On the Pittsburgh side, it was Roberto Clemente, who went 3 for 4. And then Alou, who hit into that double play in the end, was 2 for 5. So Koosman improves his record to 2-1, and he has a 2.19 ERA. And McGraw, his second save, lowers his ERA to 7.36. Didn't take much, just 1 pitch, basically. And that's all she wrote for this game. So thanks for stopping by and checking us out. And this is CP Cards and Dice saying I'll see you guys later.